In the aftermath of a devastating nuclear war, the world was left in ruins. The once bustling cities were now nothing but crumbling buildings and decaying corpses. The air was thick with radiation, and the few survivors that remained were forced to scavenge for food and supplies in order to survive. Among the survivors was a young woman named Sarah. She had lost everything in the war: her family, her home, her sense of security. But she refused to give up. She had heard rumors of a place called Sanctuary, a safe haven where survivors could live in peace away from the horrors of the wasteland. Sarah set out on a journey to find Sanctuary, armed with nothing but a rusty old pistol and a determination to survive. As she traveled through the desolate wasteland, she encountered all manner of horrors: mutated creatures, deranged raiders, and the ever-present threat of radiation poisoning. But Sarah pressed on, driven by the hope of finding a place where she could finally rest and rebuild her life. Finally, after weeks of traveling, she stumbled upon Sanctuary. The sight of the small, fortified settlement brought tears to her eyes. She had finally found a glimmer of hope in this dark, desolate world. But as Sarah settled into her new home, she soon realized that Sanctuary was not the safe haven she had hoped for. The settlement was plagued by a dark presence, a malevolent force that seemed to feed off the fear and despair of the survivors. As the days passed, Sarah began to experience strange and terrifying visions. She saw the ghosts of the dead wandering the streets, heard whispers in the night that chilled her to the bone. The other survivors spoke in hushed tones of a curse that had befallen Sanctuary, a curse that had brought death and madness to all who lived there. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah delved into the dark history of Sanctuary. She discovered that the settlement had once been a military base, a place where unspeakable experiments had been conducted on innocent civilians. The horrors of the past had left a stain on the land, a stain that could never be washed away. As Sarah delved deeper into the mysteries of Sanctuary, she found herself face to face with the source of the darkness that plagued the settlement. A monstrous creature, born of the nuclear fallout and the sins of the past, lurked in the shadows, waiting to consume her soul. But Sarah refused to be a victim. Armed with courage and determination, she faced the creature head-on, knowing that her survival depended on her ability to confront her deepest fears. In a final, desperate battle, Sarah defeated the creature and banished the darkness from Sanctuary. The survivors rejoiced, grateful to be free from the curse that had haunted them for so long. As Sarah stood among the ruins of Sanctuary, she knew that her journey was far from over. The wasteland was still a dangerous place, filled with horrors beyond imagination. But she also knew that as long as she had the strength to face her fears, she would never be truly alone. And so, with a renewed sense of purpose, Sarah set out once again into the wasteland, ready to face whatever horrors lay ahead. For in this world of darkness and despair, she knew that the only way to survive was to embrace the light within herself.